Welcome to Egg Rock Soapbox. I'm Chris Kunz and this is Egg Rock, the stone I adopted when I was 7 years old because my parents wouldn't let me have a hamster. Today, it's nighttime and we're here in Antarctica to ask an important question. Should we advertise on the moon? Like this. See? Wouldn't that be awesome? Our brand would be seen by the whole planet, leading to admiration and congratulations from all, says Egg Rock. I disagree, as do probably you. Branding the moon would be vandalism, but weirdly there is a history of planning to do so. Or is there? The first thing to say is that our logo on that there moon is impossible. Even the most powerful lasers couldn't compete with the light of the sun. It's too bright. The second thing to say is that no, going to Antarctica is not unnecessary. The moon looks the absolute best in Antarctica. I mean, look at that. I don't regret coming here at all. And luckily it's one of those balmy, still nights where you can wear a short sleeve shirt. Anyway, enough yip yap egg rock. We're here to talk about advertising on the moon. And it all starts with this.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
On this July 20th, 1969.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful, Samuel.
Humans walking on the moon in 1969 was mind-blowing. Apparently so mind-blowing, some people thought it was fake.
Hang on, is NASA also using tinfoil for their lunar lander?
Shut up, Trevor!
But it was the space race. In the 1960s, popular science magazines covered everything from satellites to radio communications to lasers. Which brings us to this famous article from Time magazine in 1968. That certainly makes my skin crawl, and yes, well spotted egg rock, magazine covers are not widescreen and this was a fake. Here is another famous article, a tabloid headline from the 80s. Yes, also fake. So what's going on? Why are we having to mock up fake articles demonstrating a rumour that such articles existed when they never did? It's like a Russian doll of untruths. At some point it became common knowledge that there'd been plans to advertise on the moon, and in fact there had not. It seems that when we went to space we also took our anxieties along with us, and not just of hungry aliens and apocalyptic AI robots, but also the nightmare scenario of living in a universe sponsored by McDonald's. When we conquer the stars, do we also commercialize them? This is a serious question, and unfortunately, Egg Rock has already sold out.
McGravel. Everything a rock could want. Everything a rock could want. McGravel. Everything a rock could want. Everything a rock could want. McGravel.
Oh, Egg Rock, what have you done? Can we stop that racket? Thanks. Anyway, so while the 20th century had a non-history of lunar advertising, come the 21st, everything changes. In 1999, Steve Koonin of Coca-Cola, this guy, really did pitch the idea of projecting the Coke logo onto the moon and spent a few $100,000 on project development. This was quickly shelved because, impossible. Then, in 2006, a beer company called Rolling Rock threatened to project their logo. This is the actual TV ad.
Rolling Rock is an independently spirited beer that does things a bit differently, like our advertising. That's why we're using a laser beam to put a logo on the moon. Dr. Rudy, activate the laser.
Rolling Rock created a website with a countdown and invited future messages for projection and told everyone to sit tight until March 21. Not surprisingly, nothing, zip, happened. A year later, the brand was up for sale. Next, in 2017, we have a patent for a lunar imaging projection system. Check it out. This is a real patent which specifically mentions advertising on unlit parts of the moon, and it also says that maybe, just maybe, people might not like having the visible portion of the moon defaced, so it might be better to advertise on the dark side of the moon. This projection would then be filmed by remote satellites that would bounce the vision back to Earth. But if a tree falls in a forest on the dark side of the moon,
Then no one can hear you scream!
but this patent is impractical. The technical and ethical hurdles are huge, not to mention the cost. And what's with the name of the person who filed this? Anthony Gulab? And then it cites the Kerbal Space Program, a video game? Yeah, I don't know, Eggrock. So let's talk about a scheme that really is happening. A company called Astrolab has created some media noise as they plan to launch their Lunar Flex rover, this rover. And this one is partly designed to give brands an opportunity to advertise and test their products on the lunar landscape. And guess who's taking them there?
Oh, man.
These brands are just examples for our satire, not actual sponsors. And in fact, the Flex rover focus is on engineering and off-world mobility. Billboards on the moon? Nah, it's not. But still, do we really want the lunar landscape used as a commercial backdrop? Eggrock says, yes, do it. And what's your reasoning again? Oh yeah, you've seen 10,000 kingdoms rise and fall, so what's one more piece of graffiti? Well, I think that's self-defeating for a rock. What's the most sacred rock we have aside from our own planet? It's the moon. Selene, Diana and Chandra, the heavenly forces that pull the tides and guide fertility. Do we really want to cheapen all that? I say the moon should be treated exactly like this place, Antarctica. A scientific preserve protected from exploitation, which stops this kind of thing.
I'd take a penguin biscuit over that any day.
Chocolate is, like, toxic for penguins?
Look, despite Eggrock and I disagreeing, clearly the future lies somewhere between public television and the shopping channel. We can agree on that, right? Yeah, we do. As people go to the moon, there will be some level of branding and commercialization. But for the love of everything sacred, let's not deface our night sky. With that, Eggrock and I are on the next steamboat out of here. Good night.
McGravel. Everything a rock could want. Everything a rock could want. McGravel. Everything a rock could want. Everything a rock could want. Everything McGravel. A rock could want. Everything a rock could want. Everything a rock could want. Everything McGravel.